Today in this video, we are going to do some comparisons between the Process West front mount intercooler kit, the Stage 1, and the new ETS Ultimate front mount intercooler kit for the VB WRX. Hello everyone, my name is Dane and I work at a company called Import Image Racing where we sell great car parts. Both of these are excellent. They are made very well, the fitment is very well, they will hold power, well they will make power rather, hold low charge air temperatures is what I'm meaning to say. And they'll make your engine bay look better, which is a win in itself. So let's dive in, let's get started with the Process West intercooler. Those of you that don't know, Process West is a brand based out of Australia. They've been doing Subaru stuff longer than a lot of people that own these cars have even been alive. So definitely a big heritage behind the brand. Their fitment is on point. They make a whole slew of other super fancy billet aluminum pieces like their intake manifolds, wink, wink, for the new WRX. We just got a bunch of those in. This kit we have on our shop car, so we have a lot of first-hand experience with it. But that's not saying anything against the ETS model. ETS has been around making intercoolers, go fast parts for these cars for quite a while as well. All the cars that are setting records have ETS's intercoolers on them. Realistically, you can't go wrong with either option, but I'm going to talk about some of the technical aspects behind each of these and why it would work better for you. First thing that stands out to me about Process West with their intercooler kit is that their pipes, they're made of aluminum. This is CNC mandrel bent aluminum. It's lighter than what ETS's would be. And also, Process West stuff fits very well. Everything on their kit is completely intentional and it's just designed to work. With our shop car, it's making around 400 wheel horsepower on pump gas. And with this intercooler core, it supports that easy. Shouldn't have a problem seeing 500 wheel horsepower out of these cars with this intercooler core. That being said, Process West includes all the couplers, clamps, hardware, silicone tubing, throttle body adapters, and it's a very basic kit, but that's just it. It's basic because it works. So let's get our handy dandy measuring device and we are going to take a look at how thick this core is. This intercooler core, if you look on Process West's website, it measures it in millimeters, but we are going to measure it in inches. This is a 3-inch thick core. As far as the core height, just under 14 inches height, and then the width, I'm just going to measure the actual core itself, not including the end tanks. We are at about 20 inches. A lot of surface area for cooling. This is a very popular kit that a lot of folks really like. I like it too. It looks good, it fits great, and it comes with everything you need to install it. This kit retails for a little over $1,500 bucks, $1,553 I believe is what it's at on the website. It's also offered in the raw or black. All the piping is offered in black, and then you have stainless steel worm gear clamps for securing all these fancy black silicone couplers. Another cool thing about this intercooler core is if you take a look, so this is what Process West calls the upwell draft. So this, when it comes through here, basically the premise behind it is that using this type of bends and cast forming, it helps move the air through the entire core instead of just like the bottom piece to where the upper half of the core isn't utilized. So keep things cooler longer is really the name of the game when it comes to intercoolers. So this is an excellent option. And it's not that heavy too. A lot of the times with a lot of car parts like exhaust manifolds and stuff like that, you really can tell the higher quality models of it being heavy, or at least how much it weighs. The ETS and the Process West are excellent options. Process West just happens to be lighter because also Process West isn't quite as thick on the bottom section as ETS is, thick on the bottom. So for weight on the Process West intercooler core, this weighs 22.5 pounds, which is actually pretty light considering this has cast aluminum intakes compared to like ETS's, which is made out of sheet metal. Entire core weight to 22.5 pounds. We'll see how it stacks up against ETS as well. For shits and giggles, we can weigh the pipes as well, just so you can get like a roundabout idea as to how much the entire system will weigh. Not that it really matters, but just for data, because it's not like super lightweight intercooler and piping kits will make you more horsepower. It'll help you go faster, freeing up weight, but for most people, this kind of weight doesn't really make a difference unless you're like max effort trying to make a lot of power.
One eternity later.
Add the couplers for fun. Throttle body adapter, more couplers. So for couplers and piping, we are at 8 pounds. I would say this is right around 32 pounds with the added stainless worm gear and your intercooler hardware, which really isn't that bad for a complete intercooler kit. I have a feeling this intercooler core itself is going to be 38 pounds. That's my wager. If I'm wrong, well, then I'm wrong. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Well, I'm wrong. It's 31.5, so it's almost 10 pounds heavier than the Process West intercooler core. We should measure and see the differences in the size compared between the ETS and the Process West. Let's see, this top section of the intercooler is 2.85 inches. This is just about 4.5 inches, so about 7 inches total for the bottom section of this intercooler core. And I just rounded up to 2.8, 3-inch at the top. Definitely a good size core. The height, 13.5 inches tall, and the intercooler core itself, 19.5 inches. And that's not taking into account the intakes. This is strictly just the intercooler core. ETS is a company based out of Washington State. I had the opportunity to actually go and visit their shop back in 2020. My wife and daughter and I went there for a short little vacation to Washington State. If you haven't done that before, I highly encourage you to. But back to car parts, it was truly amazing the operation that ETS has. All the people there are super nice folks. They are definitely dedicated enthusiasts at what they do. Their fabricators do amazing work, and it's just an all-around great brand to support because they truly give back to the industry by making these awesome parts. And their packaging is on point too. That's another thing to talk about with both of these companies is that Process West, they're great for their packaging because they have foam that's made around the size of the products that they're using. Whereas ETS, they have like the sealed foam. So if you get a box from ETS and you jiggle it around, nothing inside of there is moving. So it's great packaging. That just goes to show how much pride they put into their products, just because they want it to make it to you in one piece, because we know FedEx and UPS like to use these as kickballs every now and again. I would hate to see the driver that uses a kickball for this, and really that too. Okay, so this pipe by itself, let's just say 4.5 pounds. So just this one pipe, it doesn't fit on the scale, so we'll just leave this off while we get everything else to fit on there, and we'll do some math, because we're smart human beings.
It takes an advanced sense of humor. I don't expect everybody to understand.
So this, 11 pounds. So for all the piping and couplers, not clamps or anything included, that was 4.5. So that's almost 16 pounds worth of just piping alone, plus the 31.5 that this is, so that's 47.5 pounds, so almost 50 pounds. We could just say a round number of 50 pounds in weight for this intercooler versus the entire Process West get up. Does that mean that's a bad thing? No. Does that mean that's a good thing? Possibly, which I think it is a good thing just because ETS wouldn't make a bad product, right? Weight, as far as this is concerned, in my humble opinion, doesn't really have as much of a bearing on performance just because of the amount that this intercooler will do for you outweighs the extra pounds that it would cover. Another thing to look into when you are looking at your next intercooler setup is the amount of charge rows that are in the intercooler itself. Now, charge rows refers to these fins. Well, these are considered bar and plate intercooler cores. So the charge rows is the rows that which the air moves through, right? Going back to the Process West, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 charge rows on the Process West, and on the ETS, 21 charge rows. So that being said, it's hot. And you know what intercoolers do? They cool things off. They do. Not for my head, but they do for your engine, and your Subaru will thank you, because whenever your intake temperatures start to get really warm, it starts to pull timing, you start making less power, start running into more issues, and that's just stuff that we don't want. So that's why we upgrade our cars with quality parts that we know will work, which is the case with both of these brands. So both of these intercooler kits are designed to be a direct drop-in like replacement. Process West advertises theirs as no cutting or anything required. We found that to be true when we installed it on our car. Jim, our other media guy, he's doing stuff for Buckle Up Off-Road now, still under the Import Image awning, but he installed the Process West front mount intercooler kit on our shop car. He was very, very pleased with the fitment on this. He said it was one of the best fitting intercooler kits that he's ever installed, and that's honestly what I'm expecting with this ETS variant as well. This compared to the other ETS intercooler kits, this allows use of factory crash beam. This allows uses of the factory crash beam. So that being said, if you have any questions about either of these intercooler kits, we do keep both of them here on the shelf at Import Image. I like to say I know a good bit about both of them. I know a good bit about both the brands. We are the North American distributor for Process West. If you are looking to get the fancy new Process West intake manifold for the VB WRX, we do have both the standard and the port injection model here in-house. If you are going that route, Process West also offers a conversion piping kit that allows it to be a plug-and-play solution with your Stage 1 front mount intercooler kit. This is our shop car, of course, and like I said, this is upfitted with the Process West Stage 1 front mount intercooler kit. So I'm just gonna kind of go over a couple things with you guys on it. Well, here, let me just put this in here just for show. So first, I'm going to take and clean off this intercooler pipe. It's very dusty. I've heard that sweat works very well for cleaning. I've used it myself for years.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
So this being the Process West front mount kit, this, like I said, works with a factory crash beam. This also, compared to the ETS kit, uses the factory washer fluid reservoir filler. ETS comes with, they made their own aftermarket one that I'm assuming is just because of the way the piping arrangement is. Kind of looks at a little bit more trick. So this is one of the reasons why their kit's a little bit more expensive than the Process West kit. They both serve the exact same function. The ambient intake temperature sensor also has to be relocated on the Process West kit, also along with the ETS kit. So this car, it doesn't have a ton of miles on it, but it's worked very well for what we've done with it. We have a lot of local folks that also use the Process West front mount kits, especially if you're in places like Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Texas, the places where it gets really hot and you see triple digits and 2000% humidity. If you can't tell already, it's pretty humid in here.
The heat is so intense that I can't move.
Anything you can do to make your car breathe better, breathe easier, and breathe cooler, it'll only make more power. So a lot of folks think that if you just install an intercooler kit, you're just going to make more power. That's not always the case. Usually you'll pick up some efficiency, sure, but the kicker behind doing an intercooler upgrade is not just making more power, but making more power longer. It's going to take this intercooler core a lot longer to heat soak and heat up versus your factory top mount. Sometimes I think you could just look at the top mount funny and it'll start to heat soak. That being said, you can probably take anywhere from 3 to 4 hours or so for install on these kits. They come, like I said, completely inclusive, so everything that's needed for install. It's a great weekend project, and of course, after installing, consult your tuner. Make sure that everything's good, especially if your car's already been tuned. You won't see a huge drastic difference as far as, like I said, performance goes, but just keeping that performance going longer. So that being said, if you want to get an intercooler, I have them, and I would love to help you out with one. So send me a message. ImportImageRacing.com. Your favorite Florida man will respond to you and get you quoted. Thanks, everyone.